From the dawn of time, because apparently drama has no start date, there was some cosmic know-it-all called the primordial intelligence. You'd think being the universe's first brainiac would come with a little common sense, but no, this entity had the genius idea to split itself into two, like a bad breakup. One half was thought, the philosophical couch potato, and the other was action, the impulsive go-getter with zero foresight. Naturally, instead of working together like functioning beings, they started bickering like two toddlers fighting over a toy. But in their case, the toy was the entire universe. Their squabbles spiraled out of control, surprise, surprise, and in their chaos, they accidentally created a bunch of races. These new species? Just a bunch of self-absorbed creatures chasing after fragments of intelligence like seagulls fighting over fries. Enter Terrorblade, the guy who clearly peaked at staring into chaos like it was some cosmic Instagram feed. Instead of, I don't know, trying to fix things, he decided the best course of action was to fuse thought and action back together. But not for some noble reason. Oh no, this guy wanted to turn everything into a personal hellscape. Because of course, if you're going to remake the universe, why not turn it into a flaming dumpster fire while you're at it? So, here we are in the middle of absolute chaos, and what's our valiant squad doing? Oh, just struggling to fight a dragon. You know, the same dragon they were supposed to be prepared for. It's like watching toddlers trying to swat a wasp with pool noodles. It's a glorious mess until Davin, our walking cliché of a protagonist, finally decides to grace the battlefield with his presence. He slaps on his helmet, because safety first, right? Grabs his sword, and charges in solo. Why? Because teamwork is for chumps, obviously. Now, instead of doing something remotely strategic, Davin comes up with the genius idea of tying up the dragon like he's prepping it for a medieval rodeo. He actually ropes the thing, folks, like the dragon is some oversized balloon at a kid's birthday party. And then, like the true intellectual he is, Davin thinks, hey, let's burrow into the ground with this massive, fire-breathing lizard. Brilliant plan. Nothing says hero like diving headfirst into a dragon's lair for round 2. Down in the hole, he manages to poke the dragon in just the right spot. Once. Yeah, one stab. Because why bother making this fight look difficult? After that, he just starts shanking it like he's auditioning for the world's worst cooking show. By the time he's done with his impromptu stabbing spree, the dragon collapses in what's probably sheer embarrassment rather than injury. The group decide to mosey on down to check out the aftermath. Turns out there's a bunch of dead dragon hatchlings nearby. But don't worry, Davin didn't have to lift a finger there. They got so bored waiting for him to show up, they went feral and tore each other apart. Nice one, team! To top it off, Davin stumbles across a suspicious hole, and because this guy clearly has a death wish, he realizes a more dangerous creature is lurking around. But thankfully it's asleep. So, the squad just nods at their good fortune, like they didn't just survive by pure dumb luck through rope tricks and casual homicide. Davin, the hero of the hour, lugs a dragon's head back like it's a mildly inconvenient grocery run, as if slicing off a dragon's noggin is just another Tuesday for him. Davin grabs his partner Bram to head back to town, leaving Captain Testosterone to get himself eaten by whatever's still napping in that cave. They stroll into town like it's a parade, because hey, they did just slay a dragon and the villagers are ecstatic. But of course, the townspeople are conveniently ignoring the fact that half the squad is now dragon toast. Davin, ever the social butterfly, now has the unenviable task of comforting a fallen soldier's family. He awkwardly hands the kid a dragon fang like it's supposed to magically replace the fact that his dad is now a charred footnote in history. Be proud of your father, Davin says, probably choking on the irony, and carry on the dream of becoming a dragon-slaying hero. Yes, because nothing says healthy coping mechanism like encouraging a child to follow his dad's footsteps right into a dragon's digestive tract. Bram, the human loudspeaker, won't shut up about Davin's accomplishments, because apparently, repeating the same story 15 times makes it more impressive. Meanwhile, Davin, ever the humble hero, or just someone who really needs a break from Bram's non-stop fanboying, heads off to fetch another round of booze for the brain cells they're collectively murdering. On the way, Davin runs into some girl who's already at the bar, looking like she's auditioning for the role of most entitled customer ever. She orders 2 beers, then has the audacity to whine about the taste, as if she expected fine wine from a place that looks like it barely passes health inspections. Davin, being the noble doormat he is, decides to pay for her drinks, because why not? Chivalry isn't dead, it's just out here enabling bad beer choices. Then the bartender, clearly swept up in Davin's legendary dragon-slaying fame, decides to give him his drinks for free. Cue the entrance of the commander, who of course can't let Davin enjoy a single moment of peace. He rolls up with the smugness of someone who's never lifted a sword in his life and mocks Davin for not finishing the job and leaving the boss dragon alive in the cave. Davin, using the last remaining ounce of patience he has, reminds the commander that even with an army, they couldn't defeat the dragon, so maybe, just maybe, it's not the smartest idea to go poking it. You know, unless they're really keen on getting wiped out before dessert. Look who's back. The princess pretending she's on some covert mission, like we all don't know she's royalty. She's probably the only person who can't manage to keep a secret while literally wearing a crown. And of course she brought her partner in crime, who's probably as useful as a spoon in a sword fight, to meet up with some shady cloaked dude for info. But wait, plot twist. Cloakman knows she's a princess, surprise, surprise, and decides to jack up the price. What does she do? Not negotiate, not charm him. Nope. She hands over her actual crown like it's a plastic tiara from a kid's birthday party. Then, just as things are getting spicy, some tavern rando decides to pick a fight with the cloaked man. Naturally, the guy's an elf, because of course, that's who would be lurking around in a dingy tavern. And guess what? The humans here apparently have the emotional maturity of toddlers and still hate elves. Cue the bullying. But don't worry, here comes Davin, the self-appointed tavern babysitter, to drag the troublemaker outside. He probably thinks he's being noble, but really he's just playing tavern bouncer for the day. Meanwhile, our dear commander, because why not add more dysfunction to this mess, is sitting there guzzling ale like it's the last drink on Earth. And that's when some mysterious evil force shows up, basically giving him a mental wedgie. Suddenly, his brain is no longer his own, and what's the first thing this possessed meathead decides to do? Go and pick a fight with the big boss in some cave, because nothing says good life choices like trying to provoke the most dangerous person around. Honestly, it's a wonder these people haven't all accidentally offed themselves yet. Davin wakes up next to a girl who, judging by his horrified face, probably looked a lot better after 3 tankards of ale. Before he can even figure out how to make his escape from this awkward situation, Bram comes crashing in, huffing and puffing like he just ran a marathon, probably the most exercise he's done in a decade. The commander's lost his mind and wants to go after the boss. Bram practically yells, as if this is the first time the commander has ever gone off the deep end.